might too.
Sherry Jackson, only on 42 Daily News. It's about time. This is 42 Daily News. It's about time.
A wild and crazy night in Birmingham when a video store robbery turns into a high-speed chase. Hello, I'm Sherry Jackson. Also tonight, a document shredding incident at the Birmingham School Board draws attention from the police.
I'm meteorologist Ben Smith. Gorgeous weather across the southeastern U.S. right now, but will it last for the holiday weekend? Find out coming up.
But first, shotgun blasts in an airport send 2 people to the hospital, plus treating the lazy eye condition, and Blaine takes the plunge. You're watching 42 Daily News. Good evening. Tonight, a community is in shock. Friends and family of a Pleasant Grove High School student are struggling to cope after she was killed in a car accident. 16-year-old Laura Beth Shelton was killed this morning. At around 8 o'clock, Shelton lost control of her vehicle and slammed into 2 trees. Tonight, loved ones are devastated. A student killed is our top story in a minute. Laura Beth Shelton was a cheerleader and softball player at Pleasant Grove High School. She was a dear friend to students like Allison Thomaston and Tiffany and Amanda Wood.
She'd do anything for anybody. She was always there when you needed just to call her or anything. She was great.
Tiffany says she will miss Shelton's presence on the team.
She was always out there just having fun and
picked everybody up.
Acting goofy. Yeah, she was a great inspiration for people.
As soon as I heard the sound of the crash, I said, oh my God, somebody must be dead.
Linda White lives near the spot where Shelton lost control of her red Firebird and crashed into a pair of trees. She says it's not the first wreck she's seen there.
It's too bad there's not something that could slow people down. We have had quite a few accidents here, and more than one fatal one.
Shelton's untimely death now leaves loved ones to face a summer with only memories.
We'll miss her. We'll never forget her. She's one of a kind.
She's always in our heart.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, see how Shelton's death is having a lasting impact on the Pleasant Grove community. Sentencing for a man who pleaded guilty to gut-wrenching child sex charges is being pushed back to next month. In March, James Leland Logan admitted to sexually torturing his girlfriend's grandson several years ago. The grandmother, Linda Glass Smith, is already serving a 50-year prison sentence. She was convicted of child sex abuse charges in 1999. Tonight's Crime Watch begins with a wild evening in Jefferson County. Fultondale police apprehended one suspect after a chase led them all the way to southwest Birmingham. It happened a little after 10 o'clock last night when police responded to a robbery at a video store. 2 people fled the scene in a vehicle and police tracked them to this neighborhood. After about 45 minutes, they took one person away in a police cruiser. Donald Wheat remains behind bars tonight on a multi-million-dollar bond. Calhoun County prosecutors plan to charge Wheat with capital murder in connection with the deaths of 4 employees at an Anniston Blockbuster video store. Meanwhile, executives with Blockbuster will not reopen that store in lieu of that tragedy. Instead, a new one will be built at another location. Right now, Wheat is charged with robbery in connection with the case. A Talladega County grand jury indicts Clarence Cook on a murder charge. The 78-year-old man is accused of gunning down Michael Garrett at his car lot back in November. Now, police say the 2 men got into some kind of altercation over payment for a car. Police say Garrett was unarmed when he was shot and killed. Cook remains behind bars after his bond was revoked. He's accused of making a terrorist threat against the county courthouse. Now that her remains have been found, the difficult task of determining how Chandra Levy died is keeping Washington police busy. The congressional intern's skeletal remains turned up in a park more than a year after she vanished. Police Chief Charles Ramsey says finding an official cause of death may be impossible because of the amount of time that's passed. A Pensacola man is in jail tonight, charged with firing a shotgun in the New Orleans International Airport Wednesday. Investigators say Patrick Gott became enraged when someone made fun of his turban. They say he whipped out the shotgun from a duffel bag and started blasting. A Southwest employee and a customer were injured. They are both expected to recover. Birmingham school administrators say they are unnerved after discovering several bags of shredded documents this week. Right now, the acting superintendent says he's not sure what's in those documents or what's going on. Here at the Birmingham School Board, employees call them the dreaded shreddeds. Bag upon bag of destroyed documents found in the board's parking lot are now the focus of an intense internal investigation. Acting Superintendent Wayman Shiver found the bags.
I don't know the exact number. I was very upset when I came in, but I drive a fairly large car. The bags were stacked up, and it was as long as my vehicle.
Shiver seized every shredder in the building, then called police.
It's clear to me that I need to protect the property of the Birmingham Board of Education.
Board members here are glad to hear it.
I am so amazed. This is the kind of stuff that you actually see on television.
Members say they are unnerved by the parking lot discovery.
Very unnerved, actually wondering what in the world we are going to find.
Shiver says some of the documents may be reconstructed if that's where this investigation leads.
I'm anxious to know what the real situation was, and if there was nothing unusual about it, I need to know that also.
Now, State Superintendent Ed Richardson says the state will continue to monitor this situation. Richardson says the mechanics of the investigation will be left up to the board here in Birmingham along with police. Shiver says an employee caught red-handed, if you will, shredding the documents told him they were just cleaning up. Richardson says 2 employees have now offered their resignations. Board spokesman Michelle Chapman says only the board has not accepted any resignations. Representatives of the controversial reading program Voyager met with some city school board members today. They were answering questions about the Voyager contract, which is up for renewal. The program has received mixed reviews from teachers, and its $10 million price tag has raised some questions about its effectiveness. The new board president says she plans to take a look at the program personally as they consider renewing Voyager.
I will look at the objectives and see if I think that a child at the K level or at first grade level can actually attain the objectives if the material actually does what it says it's going to do.
According to Voyager's year-end report, the number of first-grade students on track to becoming established readers has gone from 27% to 62%. Sylacauga wants in on a proposed drug task force in Talladega County. Police Chief Louis Zook says his city has every bit the drug problem that Talladega County has. Zook agrees with the county DA, Steve Giddens, that it is time for a county drug and violent crime task force. Zook adds, with crystal meth being cooked up in rural areas and people going outside of the city to buy other illegal drugs, officers are overwhelmed. Well, the judges are not the only ones busy in Calhoun County. Coming up at about 12 minutes after the hour, we'll show you why sheriff's deputies don't just make a dent in the war on drugs, they kick the door down. A South Alabama man who admitted to killing up to 3,000 racing greyhounds faces up to 10 years on each count of animal cruelty that he's been charged with. Robert Rhodes sits in the Baldwin County Jail tonight without bond. Rhodes says he killed the animals for profit, earning up to $10 per dog that he says he shot. Well, 3 years in prison, that's the sentence a judge orders for a Blount County man convicted of abusing his girlfriend's daughter. Detectives say Harville Bates III burned the 8-year-old girl on the back with a cigarette. Prosecutors call the incident an act of torture. Bates wound up getting charged when police investigated a claim that he locked the victim and 2 younger sisters out of the house on a rainy winter night. A Moulton bus driver is back on the job tonight, reinstated by the Lawrence County School Board. The board fired Dwayne Kitchens earlier this year, accusing him of whipping 2 unruly kindergartners with a belt. Kitchens will remain on unpaid suspension until the new school year begins. Alabama's 4-year universities and the state's college system will be seeing leadership changes in the near future. Over the past year, many top leaders of higher education have taken other career opportunities, leaving 7 top positions vacant, including the chancellor of the Alabama college system and the presidents of the University of Alabama, Auburn University, and UAB. Bell South may soon offer long-distance service to Alabamians. The Public Service Commission unanimously endorsed the company's petition to offer long distance Wednesday. Now it's up to the FCC to approve Bell South's petition. If the FCC does approve it, the phone company says they could start offering long distance as soon as September. The deadline to register to vote in Alabama's June 4th primary is just 1 day away. So if you have not signed up, you need to do it now. The deadline again is tomorrow. You can register at any county courthouse. The Environmental Protection Agency is considering a large-scale PCB study. The research is designed to find the exact health impact of PCBs in Anniston. People exposed to PCBs would undergo medical and research tests. The agency, however, isn't asking for proposals just yet. Right now, there is no money on the table to expand the project. Well, come the end of next year, you can bid farewell to country superstars and Fort Payne natives, Alabama. During Wednesday night's Country Music Awards, lead singer Randy Owen announced 2003 will be the band's farewell tour. Alabama has sold more than 65 million albums. Next on 42 Daily News, more troubles with diet aids. Americans are shelling out the big bucks for them, but what about the results? Plus, Calhoun County deputies rock the drug trade. And a good day for bears, a bad day for neighbors.
A gorgeous Friday in the forecast, but there is a front back up to the northwest. Will that bring us some showers? I'll have that answer coming up.
Tomorrow at 5 on 42 Daily News. Find out how this new patch can make treatment easier for kids with a common disorder. Plus, ever heard of a Botox party? Learn why doctors say you may want to turn down your invitation. Join us tomorrow for 42 Daily News at 5.
You know, it's amazing just how far some people will go to win an election. My opponent, Steve French, was my friend. He helped me in my previous campaigns. He even worked for me for years. But now to win a job in Montgomery, it appears Steve will say or do anything. Have you ever had a friend like that? The truth is, the more Steve French slings mud, the more you know he's wrong for Alabama.
Grace, would you please say the blessing?
Sure. Our Father, who art in heaven, thank you so much for this day that you've made.
Julian McPhillips has spent a lifetime fighting for working families. As our senator, Julian McPhillips will work for more affordable health care for families and lower-cost prescription drugs for our seniors. McPhillips will make education a top priority. He'll fight for more funding while maintaining Alabama values. Julian McPhillips, a senator for Alabama.
Amen.
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 And now, coverage continues on 42 Daily News at 6 with Sherry Jackson and David Lamb. 42 Daily News. It's about time.
This is not good. Some bold bears make a run through several Minnesota suburbs and tear them apart. The Department of Natural Resources warns that black bears are roaming through parts of at least 3 counties in Minnesota. Fortunately, no one has been hurt, but the bears have left a signature-style mess in their wake. Calhoun County drug officers say a Jacksonville State student recently went from being a small-time pusher to a big-time dealer of prescription drugs. Now he's in jail charged with trafficking morphine and at least a dozen possession charges. Drug task force detectives went to Christopher Daniels' Jacksonville apartment on a hunch. They'd heard he was an addict. When they got there, investigators say they found much more than just his personal stash.
He had a bag set up where he was a college student. Was carrying the bag around on campus, had needles, just a wide variety of different controlled substances, and he was carrying around selling them.
Lieutenant Richard Smith says the drugs came from 2 recent burglaries at drugstores in Oxford and Gadsden. Smith adds Daniel had about half of the take. The rest of the pills were found in a Gadsden home. Smith says the drugs could have a street value of $1 million.
If you broke it down and counted each pill and figured out the street value of each price, it very well could get over $1 million.
Task force agents have also arrested Jason Santmeyer and Colony Campbell. More arrests may be coming.
And there's another subject in Gadsden that will probably be charged, and there may be other people charged in it also.
Now, Daniel has not been charged with the drugstore burglaries, but Lieutenant Smith says he is a suspect and he could be charged soon.
And now, here's meteorologist Ben Smith with your long-range forecast.
A nice-looking forecast for tomorrow. We're going to warm things up just a little bit under mostly sunny skies. Highs around 84 degrees over the weekend. A few more clouds across the region, but the rain should hold off, and the chance of rain only about 20% for the latter half of the weekend, also for Memorial Day. Right now, 76 in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, 78 degrees, Anniston and Montgomery at 77. Highs today in the mid to upper 70s, and just a little bit warmer For tomorrow, around the region, skies are mostly clear. We have a large dome of high pressure. It's been in control the last several days, and tomorrow will be no different with high pressure overhead. A clear sky tonight, a gorgeous day for tomorrow. It's not going to help our air quality index either. It's going to be in the moderate range again for tomorrow. A very chilly night tonight with lows dropping into the 50s. As far as the forecast for tomorrow, looks good. Lots of sunshine. We are watching a front back up to the northwest. That's going to try to move further to the south over the weekend, but it's going to have a tough time doing so as it encounters this area of high pressure. And the flow on Saturday will be more out of the southwest, so more clouds coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll call it partly cloudy on Saturday afternoon. On Sunday, the front gets a little bit closer. The chance of rain will be greater over extreme northwest Alabama, and even that chance of rain is only around 20%. At the same time, we were watching the tropics. This could be our next tropical low or area of disturbed weather across the southeastern U.S., but of course, as for now, it's not going to affect us in Alabama. It's something we're going to have to watch over the next several days. Of course, the first day of hurricane season is officially June the 1st. Now, the air quality index, once again, for tomorrow will be in the moderate range, so you're somewhat sensitive. Limit your time outdoors for the next 24 hours, 82 to 86. Lots of sunshine for the afternoon and for the next 5 days. Have the umbrella on Sunday and Monday, but once again, the chance of rain is less than 20%, with highs basically in the mid-80s. Overnight lows will be in the 60s.
Americans spent more than $100 billion on diet aids last year, but doctors say most of the people who take diet aids gain that weight back and more. Keeping the weight off begins our Medical Minute.
Makers of a new drug think they've come up with a better way to help people lose weight and keep it off. The drug is called Axokine. It's able to trick the brain into wanting less food. In earlier trials, people lost about a pound a week and didn't put it back on, even after going off the drug. It'll be many years, though, before Axokine is available. A study from the University of California found many personal trainers needed training themselves. When 115 trainers were tested on nutrition, health screening, and fitness testing protocols, only 42% passed. The results showed fitness trainers with at least a bachelor's degree in exercise science or related field scored better than others. A computer that works on the retina is improving the eyesight of people with a condition called lazy eye. The computer allows nerves to first see light. The theory is that these neural connections, which go unused in a lazy eye, can be rebuilt. As a result, vision is improved. In the first of its kind study, almost all of the 54 patients were able to see 2 or more lines on an eye chart in as little as 3 months.
Still ahead on 42 Daily News, Auburn and Alabama action in the SEC baseball tournament. But first, how'd this happen? A big rescue after a plane gets dunked in the drink.
Tomorrow.
So we can improve education and create jobs. Let's change Montgomery together and begin a new day in Alabama.
When you see breaking news happen, call the 42 Daily News hotline at 322-4665 or make a free call by dialing star 42 on your singular wireless phone.
Flying over the Everglades can be a nerve-wracking experience from the get-go. But for one pilot and his passenger, well, it's a lot worse. Their plane crashed into the swamp about 16 miles from the airport. Obviously, you can't just walk out of the swamp with all the mud, snakes, gators, and who knows what else is lurking. So a police helicopter flew in to pluck the unfortunates out. Coming up all new on 42 Daily News tonight at 10, outrage in Bessemer over a rezoning plan designed to relieve classroom overcrowding. Then gearing up for harsh Memorial Day traffic and a consumer alert on those electric blankets. These stories and much more coming up tonight at 10. The fight over racing legend Dale Earnhardt's autopsy photos slips into a new phase. The case is in the hands of Florida State Appeals Court. At issue, whether the Florida legislature can retroactively limit access to autopsy photos. The public's right to see the photos had been constitutionally guaranteed by Florida's Sunshine Law, but in the wake of Earnhardt's death last year, lawmakers prohibited access to those pictures.
And now, Paul Feinbaum with a 2-minute drill.
A big day at the Met, particularly for Auburn. We'll run out there and see if Auburn survived to live another day. There is the situation, and it got off early with the score tied 1. The Tigers jump out with that double to the gap. The problem for Auburn was the pitching. It wasn't particularly good, and I think you're beginning to get the story. Auburn goes down to defeat and is out of the SEC tournament. Georgia and Mississippi State getting ready for the ball game, and that was the early one, and it looked good pretty early for Mississippi State, but didn't hold up. Actually did hold up. Georgia, they exploded on Georgia for 10 runs, sending the Bulldogs packing back to Athens, losers 10-3. State plays the loser of the Tide Florida game, which is underway right now, and some pretty good news to report. The Tide is up 2-1 in the fourth. That game has a long way to go. Bad news for the Braves. Gary Sheffield, one of the big stars, has pulled a hamstring, and he could be out for a while. It is being looked at right now, and it's a little bit early, but he was on a 9-game hitting streak. It's official. Vols beat another wrap. Bob Gilbert will have to find something else to talk about. He's shown there with all his new information, but the SEC looked into it, and Tennessee announced today nothing to it, as usual. The characters of Looney Tunes and NASCAR are teaming up again. The new paint schemes unveiled today will be used in September's race at Richmond. Bugs Bunny will be on board with Jeff Gordon. And what about Kevin Harvick? He gets the Tasmanian Devil. One of the toughest places in baseball is finding a pop fly in the sun, and when you lose it, it's hard to catch. Take a look at this Keystone Cop routine. Where is it? I got it. No, you got it. Hits me in the head, and I'm pretty stupid and have a headache. See you later.
Krispy Kreme is definitely making the donuts. The Consumer Minute's coming up next. Plus, debit card woes, something you need to consider before swiping that card.
Now follow this, but it's tricky. In the Alabama Senate, John Amari voted to raise our taxes and fees 96 times, making us poorer and government rich. Then John Amari took a $48,000 fee from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. But the new sheriff found no apparent work done for that 48 grand. When asked to show what he'd done for the money, Amari refused to turn over any papers. Now John Amari wants to go back to Montgomery and trick us again. Not if we can help it.
Buying your next vehicle is as simple as 1, 2, 3 at Tuscaloosa Chevrolet.
Please join me in voting for Steve Wyndham for governor.
Street illusionist David Blaine takes the plunge from a pole erected 100 feet in the air. After standing on that tower for 35 hours, Blaine jumped into this pile of boxes. He went 4 days without food before mounting the platform and used only a minimal supply of water, just enough to prevent him from dehydration. Another positive day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closes up more than 58 points at 10,216, and the Nasdaq jumps up more than 24 points to round out at 1697.
In tonight's Consumer Minute, Krispy Kreme's profits are up from a year ago. The Winston-Salem-based company says earnings soared 55% to almost $9 million. That's up from $5.7 million 1 year ago. Krispy Kreme has now revised its earnings outlook for the fiscal year. Your debit card may no longer be free to use. That's because some banks are now charging their customers as much as $1.50 in fees when they use their debit cards and enter a PIN number. Banks collect higher fees from stores that require debit holders to sign receipts. AT&T Wireless, Nextel, and Sprint are ending their discount cell phone plans. The pricing strategy was designed to lure in new customers. However, the number of new subscribers has gone down this year, making carriers change their strategies. There is still some time to jump into some plans before they expire at the end of May if you're interested.
42 Daily News returns after this. Video game madness is our picture of the day. The Electronic Entertainment Expo is underway in Los Angeles tonight. Now, one of the big products being pushed this week is Earth and Beyond. Pretty cool looking. Video game enthusiast companies can pay a monthly fee to navigate galaxies over the internet, battling enemies, buddies, and other players live over the web.
Now, here's meteorologist Ben Smith with your weekend weather.
A nice looking weekend forecast, and there is a chance of rain on Sunday into Monday, but the chance of rain is less than 20%, mainly over northern and west Alabama. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Your Memorial Day forecast, once again, only a stray thunderstorm can be expected. Highs in the mid-80s as well. And if you headed down to the beach, looks good. Partly cloudy throughout. Highs between 80 and 87.
That's all the time we have for 42 Daily News. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 10. Jeopardy's next.
Steve French spends hundreds of